Hello, welcome once again to Pale Blends and Beyond. Thank you for joining us today. If you do like the programming you see here and the musicians I visit with, please be sure and hit the like button below and also subscribe to the channel. My guests today are David Diamond and Zero from the Canadian band The Kings. The band was formed in Vancouver, British Columbia and Oakville, Ontario. Starting out as WhistleKing, the unit honed their chops for over 3 years, playing live and writing songs. The original lineup of the Kings was David Diamond, lead vocals, bass; Zero, guitar; Sonny Keyes, vocals, keyboards; and Max Styles, currently Todd Reynolds, on drums. The big break came after meeting producer Bob Ezrin, signing to Elektra Records, and releasing their debut album, The Kings Are Here, in 1980. The album featured the smash hit This Beat Goes On, Switchin to Glide. To date, the band has released 7 studio albums plus a live album, the latest being this year's The Longest Story Ever Told, which is already getting a lot of airplay and traction. Well, welcome, guys.
Yeah, and we have a documentary film about the band too.
Yeah.
Yes. I wanna go ahead.
Called Anatomy of a One-Hit Wonder, that has reached around 80,000 views on YouTube now, and our video for Switchin to Glide, This Beat Goes On, is going to hit 6.4 million plays sometime this week, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, I like that. I watched that recently. The one where you intersperse the original, video with you guys today.
Yeah. Well, it goes through. There's something like 42 different sources in that video, and some of it's film from the old days, some of it's video, some of it's TV stuff, but because the song is the same, there's no jamming in it at all. It's just the song is the same. We can just edit all those parts from all those years.
That's right.
Old them, we get younger, we get, it's quite an amazing feat.
That's right. Well, I won't go into a lot of your early time as a child and stuff, but can you remember, were either one of your parents musically inclined at all?
My dad played keyboards. He wasn't great, but I grew up, there was always either a piano, mostly an organ in the living room. And my uncle, I had an uncle that was a great baritone voice. He was a singer at the church. He was like the leader of the choir and that. But that's sort of where I got started from.
I think it skipped a generation. My folks, there wasn't that much music in the house. I mean, there was, record player and records and all that. But I think my mom took piano lessons, but her dad was in the Montreal Symphony as a tuba player. And I just found out recently through, one of those genealogy things.
Yeah.
I met a cousin that I didn't know I had, and she had looked up my dad's side of the family, and they were all musicians. My dad never talked about it. But...
Is that right? Is that right? Sometimes I was going to say sometimes it skips a generation, like you said. Sometimes they do that. Well, what were some early influences for both of you? Musicians, bands, that kind of thing.
Well, I think when the British invasion came along there in the early '60s, and we were just little kids, I think that's we were sold. We knew each other. We went to the same public school and the same high school.
Oh, did you?
In Oakville, yeah. So we've known each other for a long time. And back in those days, there was so many bands, like high school bands, like I'm sure that there were later on, but back then everybody was just learning how to play guitar, and this new music, the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and the Kinks.
Oh,
we were just sold on music. That was then from there on it just progressed to such great players.
Right. Zero, same influences for you, pretty much?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, the Beatles and the British invasion really woke up that generation to music. And like you said, there was bands all over town. My brother was in a band as a drummer. And I got to see all the local bands. And I've said before, but there was only one guy in our town with any talent, and that was him. I saw them all.
I paid him for that.
You paid him to say that.
Well, I'm a couple of years older. I knew his older brother,
Uh-huh.
but we all did go to the same schools, and I'm a couple of years older. And then Zero, I don't know, he got together with Sonny Keyes in Vancouver.
Yeah, I always
Oh.
wanted to.
Okay.
I thought I might be able to write songs as a co-writer. I knew I could not do it on my own. I thought I could maybe collaborate and be a songwriter, and that was, you know, you don't know if you can until you try. And then
That's right. Yeah.
I think that, you know, that when Elton John came out and was, you know, very open about the fact that he was a collaborator with Bernie Taupin, one of them writing the music and one of them writing the lyrics. And I thought, well, I might be able to do Bernie's side of it. And then I was looking for somebody to maybe try that with, and found Sonny when I was living out west in Vancouver. And he was a piano player who liked to do it actually the same kind of way that Elton did it, with words on a page, and you write the music and the melody to the words on the page. Now that's sort of not the best way for me to do it. I tried doing some of that, but my way of doing it is the way that we do it, which is the melody and the music comes first, and a lot of people do it that way. I've studied a lot of
Yeah.
songwriters.
Cool.
You know, there's a million ways to skin the cat, but
Yeah.
as
Well,
long as you
well,
get it
well,
done.
well, you know, as you know, I've collected music for a long time. You could probably see some of the albums behind me, but you know, if the melody doesn't catch me, then you know, I'm not. It's hard for me to get into the song. So yeah, it's got to have a strong melody. Yeah, yeah,
Melody is everything, and
yeah, yeah.
we've had stuff where, you know, it didn't get written because maybe it just didn't grab me or whatever it might be, but you know, but then you hear one and you go, I know I can do that. You know,
Yeah. Right. Well, real quick, who penned, who came up with the name WhistleKing? Where did that come from?
I guess from me, I guess.
yeah.
Why we had that name, I don't know.
You're a good whistler.
I think it was his feedback, his guitar feedback. So
Oh, okay, got
I
that.
don't really know. I used to drive transport truck, and at one point that was my handle on the CB radio years and years ago. So I think that's where it started from. But then, like, we were playing bars and stuff, and people were calling us WhistleKing. Like, it was like Whistle Dog and all this kind of stuff. But then it started to be the Kings. I think the abbreviation came mostly from the audience. People, the Kings doing this, or the Kings playing there. I mean, that's a good name for the band. And
Right.
Even though it's really not a good name.
It's very plain.
So pompous, and
but
right.
when it came time to, you know, to release the albums and things, and to be really legal and all that, and it was a word. We searched the world if there was a rock and roll band just called the Kings.
The Kings, right.
It was something like, I mean, there's sports teams and there's all kinds of other Kings things.
Right.
But
Yeah, you know,
we were the only rock band called
right.
the Kings.
I'm surprised about that too. I would have thought somebody in the history would have used that, you know, at some point.
I think they probably did, but you know, and everybody that asks us about it, it's like at the beginning of the video for the speed Switchin, it's we have Dick Clark holding up our album saying, please greet the Kings.
Yeah.
So if you want a copyright thing, I don't think you could get a better
right.
ownership than that, you know.
Right. Well, you see, you guys were playing like 3 years as WhistleKing. Yeah, you did hone your chops, you know, and you know, get a lot of that, you know, playing live and all that under your belt. So you were,
you could do that back then because there was bars that the generation of people like to go out and listen to live music and have a couple beers, and back then you could smoke in the bars, right? And
it was 6 nights a week. There was bands, right? And Saturday matinee.
You know, people used to go out to see music, and there was clubs devoted to that with real stages and built-in sound systems. Some of them had and stuff. Yeah. So it was, you know, the money was. I was talking to somebody yesterday about it. They said, you know, I mean, I got a contract for one of those early gigs, and for 6 nights, we got $800 for 4 people, and we had to bring in our own PA system. So you were lucky to make 150 a week for 6 nights of playing.
And the bar tab would be 100 or something.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I've heard some stories of people, bands that'll have like a free bar tab like that. That's how they got paid.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I'm gonna just drink the bar dry. I'm gonna get as much. Yeah, right.
But back then, I was renting a house for $325 a month
Yeah.
with my roommate Ralph, and you could make it work.
But you did learn how to play your instrument and how to sing because you were up on stage so long, so many hours.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
that's a lot of bands nowadays. I think a lot of it is just they're on computer. They're learning a lot of backing tracks and all that kind of stuff, and
Right.
really honed their skills. Right?
And we have a CD that's actually not in print anymore, but it's on Spotify
Uh-huh.
from those days, and it's called "The Lost Tapes of a '70s Bar Band."
Right, right. That was one of my questions later, but that's fine.
Oh.
I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of these. But yeah,
Yeah.
I figured it was from that time period. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at a club in our hometown of Oakville, Ontario, and we're doing Supertramp and Squeeze Box by The Who, and
Yeah. Yeah.
And God, what's the Peter Frampton song?
yeah, Show Me the Way.
So you guys just why was there no material released under WhistleKing? You didn't get a contract, I guess.
No, it just evolved into being the Kings, and
Okay.
we won a talent contest as WhistleKing.
Okay.
The first sort of homegrown contest like radio stations used to do.
Yeah.
One of the major radio stations in Toronto, Chum FM, was it was like they had a homegrown contest. There was like something like 500 entries, and we won it out of all of it.
We won it with his song "Don't Let Me Know," which was called "Turn My Face to the Wall" at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we still played that song today because that's an homage to it.
All right.
Actually, the title change on that
Oh, okay.
was one of the contributions of working with Bob Ezrin.
Yes, yes,
Pretty
yeah.
sure that it was called.
So Let Me Know.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? Did Bob attend one of your shows? How did that all come about?
We had saved up our nickels and dimes, and we were booked a studio in Toronto called Nimbus 9, and to record in the late night shift when there was nobody around. So just sort of filling whenever it had time emptying. Bob Ezrin used to record there with he did Alice Cooper there. I think he did Lou Reed.
And the Guess Who recorded there with Jack Richardson.
So when Bob was he had just finished doing Pink Floyd's The Wall. And obviously, and he was in England for over a year or so doing that.
Yeah.
Bob's from Toronto originally and has family in Toronto, and he came by the studio Nimbus 9 to just pay a visit and who's in the studio, how's everybody doing? Oh, there's this band called the Kings are in there working on their own independent album, and he had listened to Switchin the Glide. This beat Switchin the Glide, the original version of it, and he took a copy home. He asked if he could have a copy of that to take home and have a listen to, and he played it for the kids and the wife, and he came back the next day and he said, they love it. They think it's great, but maybe we can do something here.
Yeah.
So we originally agreed to get him to mix a couple of songs. And then when he took the tracks apart, when you're doing the mixing process, he thought, you guys have great musical ideas and the songs are really good, but you don't really know what you're doing in here. And especially, God forbid, your drummer, and we, he wanted us to drop our drummer. And of course, we were very loyal because we came up together.
Yeah.
And we didn't agree to that. And so he said, look, I can work with him. And teach them how to play in the studio and work out parts so that we can make a real record, which is
Well, we did.
yeah, which is what he knows how to do, and what we didn't know how to do was make a real record, and all that's involved in that. And
Right.
So he rented a rehearsal room for us. We were in there for 3 or 4 weeks, 5 days a week or whatever, and
Just drilling our parts. They're getting really, really tight, getting as tight as possible.
Yeah.
we picked out the 10 songs, and he worked out the drum parts. And if you watch any like if you watch the old Beatles videos and stuff, Ringo is playing the exact parts that he played in the studio. Like, it's the same thing. They worked out the parts. Here's how it goes. And that's what he's playing live, and that's why they're so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after we finished doing that, when we went out and played live, we're all doing that. We're all playing the same parts.
Right.
The different drummers we've had over the years, that we have to, some songs is, you can do whatever, just keep it going. But for this beat and switching,
yeah,
learn the parts.
Yeah.
Signature parts that people are expecting to hear.
Yeah, right.
They're very distinct.
You can't vary from that. You're right. Well, let me ask you this: who designed the King's logo?
Sonny Keyes.
Mr. Sonny Keyes.
Oh, did he really? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and that was when we were on the road playing in some bar. We needed to get some kind of and of course it's that back in the punk sort of days when people were just drawing, sketching, whatever.
Yeah.
He painted. He was sort of just with some white, paint.
White paint on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I have the first T-shirt that he painted on the back with some kind of acrylic paint, and I still have it. It got a lot smaller in the drawer. I don't know. It used to fit me, but now
I think it just started shrinking. You put it in the dryer too many times. Yeah.
He came up with that, and it's a great logo. You can see it from miles away.
Yeah, it is. It is right. It's become kind of iconic too. The whole like you said, it's got that kind of punk kind of DIY.
Or new wavy type of thing, whatever it was in that time frame.
Well, your debut album, the Kings Are Here, and it, of course, featured the hit "This Beat Goes On," "Switchin' to Glide." I remember hearing the track when I was in college, so I'm dating myself a little bit here. Immediately liking it. Great party song, great. And of course, Sonny's keyboards on "This Beat Goes On." It's got that Farfisa organ kind of sound on there. A little ska, a little mod revival. And even kind of it goes back to that Sir Douglas Quintet, that Tex-Mex, kind of sound. Squeeze had that Farfisa beat, the same year. I think it came out the same year. But my favorite is the second half, "Switchin' to Glide" section. That's always been my favorite. Great power pop, right on the cusp of new wave. What you were talking about with the new wave. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's not the same without the first half.
Well, no, it's not. It's not.
We wrote it as a segue. A lot of people asked who put the two songs together. Well, we did. And originally, Elektra Records wanted it just as the single, just as "Switchin' to Glide." They didn't think it would be on AM. It was too long for AM radio.
Okay.
And so they just released it as just switching to Glide. And when we did American Bandstand, we only played that half of the segue.
Right.
And it was doing all right, but it was no big deal. And then I think it was more or less it was the DJs that say, well, there's a segue. Let's play the segue.
Right. There's a segue in it.
We were helping pressure the promo, and the promo department at Elektra wanted the segue.
Right.
And so they put that out, and that's when the phones, started ringing at the radio stations.
Right. Well, how many different TV shows did you guys play on promoting the song?
Just a bandstand.
We did a couple of things. Nothing in Chicago with some dance party things.
Some smaller ones, but major.
Okay. Yeah.
We never did any of the big ones like Fallon or Colbert or any of those kind of late nights ones, which we always watch every night to watch and see who's on TV these days. And
right.
It's good. Some of it isn't.
Well, the song I have to mention was on Billboard Hot 100 for many weeks and reached gold single status. And the album became certified platinum.
Yeah.
And then eventually you guys were inducted in the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame.
We are.
Yeah.
Quite a thing.
When was that? When did that happen?
During COVID.
Okay.
Right at the height of COVID. So instead of some big award show, which they usually do have that kind of thing here in either Toronto or a major city, they have a big show and everybody comes. There was nothing going on, so they had us play. It was live on television at the newly renovated El Macombo in Toronto, which is a famous club that was just all renovated. We were there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning for the morning breakfast show, being presented for our award or being inducted.
Really?
And we played live. So this is for the breakfast television. There wasn't a soul other than the TV crew and the house techs.
COVID.
And you were just playing. Yeah, we're having a great time here, everybody. Oh, brother.
But it was on a national morning show, like Canadian morning show. So
okay.
But that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I have a CD copy of Unstoppable. Which has a remastered version of This Beat Goes On, Switchin' to Glide on it. That was very hard to find. In fact, it's very hard to find any of your material down here. I'm a big record collector, CD collector, and I was lucky enough to find that one. And that was what, 1993 Unstoppable, I think.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, around there. And I have to say, sad the band has been relegated to the one-hit wonder status, because just on this album alone, there are songs that should have been hits.
Oh, I think so too.
I wanted to mention. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I think it's our best album. Except maybe I think our new one is in that league. But certainly, like I was talking again to somebody about that yesterday. The Lesson to Learn and Parting of the Ways, Should Have Been Me.
Those were the ones I was going to. Yeah. Parting of the Ways is my favorite on that album. Parting of the Ways.
Incredible song.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah. And you mentioned Lesson to Learn. Another one. Tonight I Got You. That's another one I like.
Broken California, Out of My Mind in the Texas.
Right. See? Maybe that's why I like it. Maybe that's why.
Liminal thing in there.
Right. And then Cosmic Groove. It has that early energy and sound of the early, from the first album,
It's we play that song still now.
Once in a while. Lately we have to tailor our sets because we know we're not really a headliner band, but we're a good opening act. And so sometimes you get a half hour, sometimes you get 40 minutes, sometimes you get 45 minutes or 50 minutes or an hour or up to 75 minutes.
Yeah.
So we have different sets that time out to all those lengths.
Right.
So you really got to try to pack in the best quality stuff in those time frames. And so, sometimes Cosmic Groove makes it in and sometimes it doesn't, but we like it when it does. It's a lot of fun to play it.
We have a lot of great songs. That's the one thing Zero and I try to do is write a really we have a lot of really crappy songs that are on the shelf that need just fixing up, but we work hard at making it at songwriting doing a good song, writing a great song, and that's we try to do that, and not just turn out a bunch of crap. So
it's evident. It's very evident, and you're also a very tight band, and you've continued that up until today. Now you mentioned earlier, Zero, about the anatomy of a one-hit wonder. Talk a little bit about that. When was that released? When did that come out?
That's late, between 2008, 2000 something in there. So I think
2000 something in there. I like that.
That took 3 years to make that. I was talking to the guy last night at the club. We went to see some friends of ours playing, and he mentioned Lesson to Learn because he thought that was a great song. It was Dan's partner, in the
Brent.
And he was saying, Lesson to Learn, man, that's a great song. I said, well, that Unstoppable is a great album. I said that took 18 months to make.
Yeah.
Because they're all projects that take all your time.
Yes.
And you got to pay for it. So I was working in the film business, and that's took 18 months of work to pay for Unstoppable. And then wanted to make the documentary, and that started out with making the video for This Beat and Switchin. And that took a long time. That, like you're saying, there's so many different formats of film and video and stuff. It took over 140 hours to edit that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the documentary itself took, including that, took 3 years because
I won't.
I kept running out of money.
Remember, this is all independent. Like, we're not being backed by any major record company or anything. It's all under our own steam here.
Right.
Making
Hey,
this happen.
I won't complain about 4 hours to edit a video. Then I won't I won't say that.
It's nothing.
That's nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's quite a process. I've worked with, I mean, different editors over time. He doesn't have the patience for it.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
He goes crazy.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah.
But if you've done it, the details, it's all in the details.
It's all in the details. Yeah. I'm a detail-minded person myself. So,
well, and the thing about the Switch and the Glide video was that we've seen so many videos.
Yeah.
That don't sync right. They're not.
Yeah.
The sync isn't right.
Yes.
The thing that we really hate, the thing where the drummer hits a cymbal and he's not hitting a cymbal.
There's no cymbal on the recording.
Or you hear a crash on the recording and he's not hitting it on the thing. There's none of that in that video.
Right. Well, speaking of, I'm going to fast forward here to the new album, but speaking of syncing right, I Know So. It must have been really fun recording that one. And then who put the video together? Because talking about syncing, all those old clips, there you go, synchronized so well in that.
I did that with my friend Neil McNaughton, and we set about to. I would be at home on YouTube looking up old big band footage and all this kind of stuff, and writing down the time code type things of where it was in the song for Benny Goodman or whoever it was, that this little 3-second thing would be good. And so I'd send that to Neil, and we'd get into his editing suite and then put together, all the different clips and try to figure out where they fit. And I remember when we had actually, a few of them actually strung together, and it worked so well that was like, we got to do this. It's really good.
Right. It did. I mean, everything, you watch that through that, and everything is just
it's amazing.
synced. I mean, it's so well done. Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun, and it's got a lot of energy, and
yes,
we're in it a little bit, right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah. And I love the way it ends too, It's just and
they laugh,
right, a little giggle there. Yeah, but going back to I wanted to ask you too about the concert film Live at Heatwave.
Oh, yeah.
When was that filmed?
Well, Heatwave was the summer of 1980,
Okay.
and it was sort of going to be like the new wave Woodstock. It was at a big racetrack just north of Toronto, Moseport Racetrack is what it was called, where they had a lot of GT races. 55,000 people or so were there, and there was Elvis Costello, the Pretenders, the B-52s, Talking Heads, Nick Lowe, Rockpile.
Oh yeah.
That's all I can remember.
Teenage
Head from the Hamilton, Toronto area were the only other Canadian band, and us. And there was a film crew that were going to shoot the whole thing and do a movie, like shoot it on film. And there was a sound truck there to record the audio, because it was film and audio, as in the old days for you folks. They were separate. It was like a silent movie, and there was an audio, and you had to time code them together. And the other bands, there were some legal things going on that the other bands, the big bands, didn't want to do it because they didn't know if they were going to get paid or not. And of course, we were saying, "Let's do it. Yeah, shoot it. It's great."
Yeah, so they went to John Brower, the promoter of the show, who did the Toronto Peace Festival and other things back before that in the Like he's the guy that brought John Lennon to Toronto for the thing in
Plastic
Barcelona,
Ono band, or yeah.
the part
Oh,
with
okay.
Eric Clapton, and I mean, and he did the Strawberry Fields Festival, which was in 1970 up at Mossport that I went to, and I mean, he done a lot of things.
And then we had met him in Toronto, and he's a great guy, and he was quite a promoter, and he believed in us,
Yeah,
enough to get us on the bill. And this is just when when our first album, Switchin' the Glide, and just being released.
Yeah.
That's how we got on this big
Oh, you got on the
fabulous
bill.
show.
The bill. Are there still clips of that, like on YouTube? The live show? Do you know?
well, no, we have the film of that, the whole
Okay, the
concert.
actual film. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
which
all right.
again took. That's another long story, but it's
The longest story ever told is
yeah.
There's a segue right there if I've ever heard one. Yeah, right. Is that where yeah, where did the title come from?
Oh,
That's
stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly
Okay,
right.
okay.
Every time something like this happens, they say, "Oh, that's another story. That's a longer story."
Right.
But the film footage got lost, and the audio tapes got lost at one point. And Zero, again, this guy, he hunted it all down and
Yeah.
found the lost footage basically, and got it put back together again.
Yeah,
Nope.
it was
It was
because nobody agreed to do it. They never made the movie, and so the production company that filmed it and the audio guy, they just went their separate ways.
All raw footage. Nothing was ever done with it again.
Yeah.
So when I finally tracked down the production company, they did, commercials and other things. And, as a film company, that you hire them to shoot at something, whatever it may be. Finally figured out who it was and then tracked them down and was talking to the guy. And he said, we have a warehouse that we keep all our film cans in because it was shot on 16 back then. Video wasn't that great. And so he said, we were in there last week cleaning the place out. We had a giant dumpster outside where we threw all this stuff.
Did they?
And he said, we got to the shelf and the Kings, okay, we'll keep that.
Oh,
It was a week away from almost being in the dumpster.
oh, almost. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's good you interjected at that point then.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so he said, look, we're never going to use it. You can have it for free and it's
Yeah.
yours. And that's what gave us the ownership of that, as well as all the footage that was shot there, including Teenage Head, the other Canadian band.
Yeah.
And so a few years, like 3 or 4 years ago now, Doug Aerosmith, the guy that produced their film, which is called Picture My Face,
Picture My Face,
which is a great documentary about this great Canadian punk band called Teenage Head. They were putting their film together, and he came and approached me, and we voluntarily glad to let them use whatever they wanted to use from the Heatwave show. And if you watch that movie, which is really excellent documentary about a great Canadian band, they used the Heatwave was their, the peak of them at the time, and us for that matter. We were both really, at the peak of our abilities. And it was just a couple of months, and they were going to go do some showcases in New York, and everything was going well for them. And, the spotlight comes around, and it was going to shine on them.
Yeah.
And then their guitar player broke his back in a car accident.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And the spotlight kept moving, and it was off them. And that was their sort of chance that they didn't really get to, unfortunately, make the moves that they were going to be able to do.
They would have been the Canadian Ramones. They were back there friends with the Ramones at one point.
They're really good.
That's another part of the story.
Another, unfortunate those things happen. Yeah, right, exactly.
Their movie is called Picture My Face, highly recommended.
Okay.
And the footage of the Heatwave show during the day, we're at night.
Well, what formats can you watch live at Heatwave and the other ones?
It's on YouTube.
Okay, the whole show. Okay.
Yeah, it's about a half hour. They filmed, and this is the other weird thing we always thought later was that none of the other bands agreed to be filmed, so they must have had a lot of film, right?
Yeah.
But they only shot about a half hour of our set, which was 45 or 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's tunes missing. There's only the last half of this beat goes on, right?
Yeah,
It's just
very
near the
end.
end,
And Switch to the Glide.
the whole thing is switching the glide, but it's like,
They just took parts and snippets sort of some of the other songs, and
it's weird.
I guess they were thinking,
Wow,
I think it's great though. It turned out great.
And the audio is available as the Kings Live at Heatwave,
Yeah.
as an album in itself.
yes, an album. You're right. You're right. Okay. All right. Well, you mentioned earlier the longest story ever told, and we were going to segue into that. It features the new album, the single "A Rose for Your Stone."
Right.
You know, watch that. Nice track with that cowboy, you know, and that Western theme.
Well, it's different for us for sure. We have some other nice slow songs, but this one is. I was watching The Good, the Bad, the Ugly one night.
Okay. Okay. All
I
right.
always loved that soundtrack. I think everybody's, you know.
Oh yeah, Ennio Morricone. Yeah.
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 And I was watching, I'm thinking, "Wait, I haven't heard a good, like, there's lots of good country songs about, you know, crying in their beer, people in that, whatever, you know, but I hadn't heard a really good story song for a long time, like El Paso or
Right.
some of
Yes.
the old Johnny Horton songs, you know, that kind of stuff.
There's Texas
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right.
again, out in the West Texas.
There's that connection.
down in El Paso.
There's that connection.
So
Right.
I was thinking that, so I started working on, you know, that style of music. And I came up with the music, and then I said Zero to Zero, I got this idea about a spaghetti western type song. With
Yeah.
it's a
Right.
storyline here. And then he came up with a storyline, and we ended up, the song was like 7.5 minutes long with all these verses. It was like a whole movie. It was way too
Yes.
long and boring, you know. So we had to cut it down to a certain length, and
That was during COVID too.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that good during? On the video, I like the little, like the strip, the film coming down the side like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. It's did that with another editor friend, Peter Greco.
Yeah.
But the video is great. We shot it here at my place. I have a rehearsal studio, and Zero had his little video camera, and we lit it with 7 like the lighting in the video is with 7 candles.
Okay. Okay.
So it was, you know, a couple of takes, right? And then
It's rough, but it's, you know.
but that's what it's
No.
supposed to be like, right?
I think it works, and I like the horns in it too. You know.
Oh, the horns are
And
great.
yes. Yes. Yes.
That's an interesting story on that too, because it shows you how far the technology has come since we started doing this. And, you know, because we had the song idea and we did the recording, I guess, to a pretty good place, and then sent it to Sonny, our keyboard player,
Yeah.
who lives in Victoria, British Columbia, out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And he came up with these horn ideas, right?
Well, I sort of had the idea that it needs some horn parts
Yeah.
here, but he came up, he wrote the horn parts.
Yeah.
But this is the beauty of the internet. This is what it's supposed to be for, that you can send things around
Yeah.
the
Yes.
world and
Right.
do tracks and stuff.
Yeah, and
Right.
so that way we thought Sonny played the horns on his synthesizer,
Uh-huh.
sent us that.
Yeah.
We thought it was too perfect sound.
Yeah, it sounded too synthesized-y. It wasn't a real mariachi type of horn.
Right. Too clinical. Yeah. Yeah.
Too perfect. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
so there's this thing on the internet called Fiverr, Fiverr. And you can find any people to do anything on there, from web design to album covers to, you know, plumbers or whatever you want, including all kinds of musical technical people, horn players, guitar players. You send them their tracks. So I found a trumpet player in Spain, of all places, and sent him the thing. And so he transcribed it himself and added another part to it, and then played them, and then pitch correct, and then he sent them back to us, and then our engineer Chris pitch corrected those, and that was too perfect too. So we had to dial back and leave it so it sounded real instead of
Yeah.
perfect, because things are not perfect.
And that was all done with translation too. Like the fellow that did the horns spoke Spanish, you know, so everything was in translation mode as well. You know, it's pretty interesting.
Right.
So he sent that back, and that worked, and then we got it mixed in LA.
It was mixed in LA, man. Michael Bloom.
So
Yes. International. Yeah.
like you said, that is what the internet is supposed to be,
Right.
like-minded people doing positive things instead of
That's right. That's right. And that's what I hopefully doing this channel, will promote that. That's what I'm about too, make it about the music, the times we're living in. We need something to believe in,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I want to mention about you mentioned Marty Robbins. Of course, I like El Paso, but I think my favorite is the Saddle Tramp. I think that's my favorite track. You familiar with that one?
Oh,
No, I don't know that one.
Oh, go listen after this. Just do it on YouTube. Saddle Tramp. Are you familiar with, real quick, a Glenn Campbell early track from, it was like 62 or 3, Death Valley? Death Valley?
no.
Yeah, look that one up too. It reminds me a lot of Marty Robbins. It really sounds a lot like Marty.
What's it called again?
Death Valley. Like Death Valley.
Yeah.
Out in
Write this down.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
Writing it
yeah.
down.
Yeah, Glenn Campbell, Death Valley, and it sounds a whole lot like Marty Robbins to me. But yeah, go and listen to that.
And how good was Glenn Campbell?
Yeah.
Oh man, tell me about it. Oh man, yeah.
We saw him in Toronto near I think it might have been his last tour he did.
Yeah.
Second last, one of those.
It was
yeah.
sad, but
sad. I mean, he was still incredible,
he
but
was
he wasn't.
Right. Oh, I saw some of the pictures of him towards the end, and yeah, it didn't look good. Didn't look good.
Him and Roy Clark, some of those in the early days with him and Roy Clark, they had the guitar.
That's another one. Yeah, that's another one. I love
Jerry Reed's incredible.
Oh yeah, another one. Yeah, that's some of the stuff I really love. I go back and listen to that a lot. That whole 60s and early 70s.
Let alone, Marty Stewart or, all these
more modern guys.
Incredible player.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to say, David, your voice hasn't lost a thing. Still as strong as ever. Listening to this new album. And do you take anything for that? Do you gargle with anything?
I quit smoking. 10 years ago. That's was a big deal.
Maybe that's what it is.
But,
okay.
That is a big part of it.
That's a big part of it. Oh, a little bit. That's something, if I need it, I have like a Hall's mentholyptus or something, a little bit of that. But lately, a little bit of tea and lemon, or just tea.
What's the name of that tea?
It's called Throat Coat.
Okay.
It's a herbal medicine, or not medicine, but it's a herbal tea.
Do the product.
Oh, right. Yeah. I may hold it up and promo it. I may need some of that myself.
I don't know if it's a Canadian company or what it is, but this thing it's called Throat Coat.
Okay. Yeah, I was just getting over that upper respiratory thing just the last few days. I had it for a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all that, a lot of coughing going around. Well, also on the new album, I like the heavy guitar intro on Nowhere to Go But Gone. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's his great riff, and I'm playing my old Les Paul, and we actually we did the beds, like the drums, in real studios because it sounds better.
Yeah.
But we did most of it in a small studio and basement place where Chris, our engineer, works, and it's a modeled amp, a Soldano modeling type thing, which it's so much easier to get a sound that way than bringing in your Boogie or your Marshall or whatever.
But it's true, like you said, like you need a big room, a good decent room at a real studio to get a good drum sound. Then you can always work from that off computer sounds, and which is what we did. And thank you. That's a great. We love that song, and it's a great video for that song too. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, I have.
Cruising around with the Volkswagen bus.
Yeah. Speaking of videos, I had a hard time making it through the video for Always Off the Deep End. Because do you know why? You know why, right? Because of all the hot girls in bikinis.
That's funny.
I paused.
That's actually toned down because
is it?
We showed it to our team, so to speak, which
the
is
promotion team
which
people.
is very big.
Toned it down, huh?
And there was more of that, and now there's it's not as much. But
We're
it-
getting, I don't know if it's gonna fly
You
here.
didn't want to get it banned.
Oh.
You know?
it was nothing like that. It was just
Yeah.
more girls in
It's
bikinis.
just more.
Okay, was it?
There's
It's a
less
nice,
of the bad guys.
it's a nice song though. It's a nice song, you know.
That's
Yeah,
a great summer song. It did really well on podcasts and
That's fun.
radio play and stuff. Yeah, it's great. Summer's coming around again, so I'm sure you'll hear it some more.
There we go. There we go. Well, we mentioned I Know So, and another, great track off of this one, the album. But I also like the honky tonk piano on the title track.
Oh
The
yeah,
Long- The Longest Story Ever Told. Yeah.
that's
like
a great song. The piano player in that is our good friend Peter Nunn, who played with the Kings for quite a while after Sonny had to left for a while, and we needed a really good keyboard player, and that's Peter.
Okay.
Peter Nunn, and that's the last name, Nunn.
he plays full time with Honeymoon Suite. You might have heard of them. They're
Oh yeah, I think so. I think I've
another great Canadian band.
right.
But he played all that was great honky tonk stuff that he plays all
Yeah.
through that.
Speaking of westerns, I had an idea before. I didn't develop it. Maybe a short story, but have it's a western, right? And it's a guy. It's Slim and Nunn. It's called Slim and Nunn, and it's a guy named Slim. You know how many
Of course,
of the old westerns were called Slim, right? Slim and Nunn, and it's actually a nun, N-U-N.
Oh,
She's a nun, so Slim and Nunn. And all of the things that they get, wacky things that they get. It could be a comedy, right? And everything they get caught up in.
The western was Shirley MacLaine's a nun in a western. Ever seen that one?
Which one?
Shirley MacLaine. She's a nun in a western.
Yeah, she is. Is that two mules for Sister Sarah?
That might be that one.
I think that's it. Yes, Sister. Yes, Sister Sarah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're right. So anyway, I just thought of that one time.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm always coming up with puns. I'm always coming up with my brother just kind of rolls his eyes, But I'm always doing that. Well, I have to mention my favorite track on the new album is "When Dreams Come True."
I like that. Eh?
Oh yeah, beautiful track.
Well, we've made 5 videos so far, but we haven't done that one yet.
Yeah, you need to. Because I'm a sucker for ballads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've been told it's like it's the new wedding song. The first dance at a wedding. The bride and groom come out to dance, and
right.
It applies to so many people where it's a second chance song, right? It's not like the first marriage. It's like a lot of people have been through that first one, and then they find the real one after that, and that's sort of the idea behind the song.
Yes. But well written, and it's one of those that pulls on the heartstrings, and and it gives you a little of that goosebumpy feel. You know what I'm talking about? What I'm saying?
Isn't that nice? That's our old manager used to say. See,
there you go.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, goosebumps. That's right. That's right. that tingly feel good thing. Yeah. Yes. There you go.
I remember he told me that when he heard Unstoppable for the first time. He goes, "Look at Goosebumps."
Right. That's always for me a sign that it's a quality song.
100%.
Yes. And then She Don't Fool Around. That again sounds like it could have been on the first album back in 1980. Yeah.
It's not a new song. For making the record, we have lots of songs that never made it onto albums that, for whatever reason, just didn't fit at the time or whatever, and recording budgets and everything. And so we went into the vault, and that was one of the ones that was in there. And we saw it. I mean, it's a perfectly written song, and it's great.
We just revamped it, re-recorded it, and that thing, it comes along like a freight train, doesn't it?
It does. Yes, it does.
We open up our set with it nowadays. That's
our
opening song. Yeah, we go and they go wham. They're like, good here, all right.
Yeah, there's another video you might want to watch. We did it. Played a casino last April, March?
Late April.
And there's a half-hour video of that performance,
Oh, is it? Okay.
on our channel too. It's live at Casino Rama, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll check that out.
Yeah, it is live. It's great. Yeah, it's a really good video.
If you want to know what we're like now,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you could bookend it with the heat wave thing.
Yeah.
We don't leap around quite as much as we used to.
Oh, okay. I bet you don't. For safety reasons. Yes, yes, exactly. And it's funny getting older how it's much easier to reach up than it is down. Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, and I can feel
snow out there. My back's a little sore already.
Yeah, and the knees, and yeah, exactly. Start going out. Well, what's going on these days besides riding the crest of the new album?
Well, we're just trying to promote it and working on some gigs for the upcoming year. It's a pretty slow time right now, but that's okay. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Well,
we're working on stuff for spring and summer, or summer and fall. Hopefully, we get down to Texas. We love playing in Texas.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would be great. That would be wonderful, man.
We played South by Southwest there a few years back now, but
there's another video of us playing in Texas at that club in Fort Worth or somewhere.
No, that was in Austin, Fort Worth, and there's some video of us playing at South by Southwest.
I don't know.
Oh, did you? I should have thought of that question. I like to ask people that. Yeah, South by Southwest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because that's the one where we go to the Dealey Plaza and talk about that.
Yeah.
And, all this other kind of stuff.
We'll have to do that another time, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I know you got another one coming up.
Yeah, we got on right now. So.
Okay. Well, that's good that it's slow period right now. It's good for me. It's slow for you. It's good for me. I can get more in.
It's fun to do this. Thank you.
Yes, you guys are very welcome. Okay. And I will send you a copy of this in a week or so once I edit it a little bit, and then stay in touch.
No, it's always good to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Well, thank you.
Get in touch with Ann, and we'll do this again at any time. Sorry, we're a bit rushing today. We could keep going on and on and on.
I know you guys could. I know. Well, all the best to both of you. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Right. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, Greg. Thanks.
Rock and roll.
I wasn't looking, I never thought I'd fall in love again. I wasn't dreaming, and I was always first, that said dreams come true, and in a moment the world can change. It's so easy loving you. You're so beautiful, and forgetting you is impossible when dreams come true. Back to the story. But where does the story end? My friends, you want the description? Imagine what happens when your dreams come true. Before you know it, the world could change. It's so easy loving you. You're so beautiful, and again.